عسلامة الناس الكل، مرحبا بكم. دونك مرحبا بكم في واسب تونيزيا شابتر. دونك من الأول الكل باش نحكي بالعربي.
الناس الكل مرحبا بكم. دونك
just 1 minute please.
مرحبا بكم في واسب تونيزيا شابتر. دونك من الأول
قبل ما نبداو بربي حبيت سورتو في تونس، دونك حبيت نسلم على الناس الكل ونقول لهم مبروك اللي نجحوا في الباك اليوم، خاطر اليوم النتيجه نتاع الباك في تونس. دونك مبروك اونكور اون فوا، واللي بيان سور اللي ما حالفوش الحظ ان شاء الله مره جايه، وان شاء الله القادم خير بقدره ربي. دونك بونجور تو الموند. دونك bienvenue à WASP Tunisia chapter live event. Donc good evening everybody whatever you are. So welcome to our WASP Tunisia chapter event. Today we will talk about securing mobile application, but especially we will talk about news of current refactoring of mobile, this project, Mobile Application Security Verification Standard. And this project and this news are has presented during WASP Virtual AppSec last week by Carlos Holger and Sven Schleyer. So very, very happy to have with us Carlos Holguera, which is a WASP Mobile Security Project co-leader and Mobile Security Research Engineer and now Secure. Thank you very much, Carlos, for accepting to be with us.
Yeah, hello everyone. Thank you, Nihal, for the invitation. Really happy to be here and keep spreading the word and presenting you our latest updates. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the talk.
Sure, surely. Thank you again. And I think this presentation is for all people, of course, interested in mobile, in development, in pen testing, in testing, etc. So this is a very important and exclusive, I know that, exclusive conference just after AppSec about these projects and the new refactoring. So before we start, you can, of course, for the audience, thank you for your audience, you can post your notes or remark or questions during the live. And we have also the QA session at the end. So welcome again, Carlos, welcome to all the audience, and we can start the session. So floor is yours.
Okay. Perfect, thank you so much. So yeah, welcome everybody to our talk. We will be talking about securing mobile apps with the MASVS and how our journey is to our version number 2. So this is me, Carlos Olguera. I come from Spain, live in Berlin, and I'm a mobile security research engineer and now Secure. And since already a couple of years, I don't know, 5, I think, working on the mobile project from OWASP, and currently the co-lead with Sven Schleyer. And yeah, I will be presenting you the news of the project and many interesting details if you're interested in mobile security, would like to know. We have several very hot topics going on right now with Google, privacy and other things, and mostly about using standards. So we will be seeing what is the standard when you are testing mobile applications, and I will then guide you through the process that we are doing right now, refactoring, making everything more simple to follow and better to consume for you. So yeah, let's go ahead and go for the mobile security project. So in the OWASP mobile security project, we have 3 main resources that you can access in our project page and in our GitHub repos. So the first one is the standard for mobile security, which is called MASVS, stands for Mobile Application Security Verification Standard. And this one establishes a baseline for mobile applications. So what you can find here is the main areas that you should test when you are testing an application. And this will include storage, like secure storage, using cryptography properly, authentication, secure networking, so, and many more. These areas are fundamental. So it's kind of everything you should know, digested and put into several controls that you can follow and validate your mobile apps against. So then in order to know how to do this, how to test every of these controls, you can use the Mobile Security Testing Guide, the MSTG, which is a very extensive document, I think like between 500, 600 pages. You don't have to read them from beginning to end, but you can just go straight to the parts that interest you, or just read the first chapters, which brings you a lot of context to mobile security. You can use it as a learning resource, of course. So even if you don't have an idea about mobile security, you can start here and learning what is it about, how can you test an app, how can you reverse an app if you want to do penetration testing. So you will find a lot of useful information here. And not only that, then it will guide you through the testing process and show you how to do many things, like following the standard in the end. So also, if you are more advanced, you are already a penetration tester and you are doing mobile security as well, this is the resource you can use to keep learning. And also, of course, you are invited to collaborate with us. This is an open source project, and everyone is welcome to open pull requests on our repos with new content and proposals. To bring everything together, we have our checklists. Many people like checklists. We made a nicer version of them recently, which not only it's a bit more beautiful than the ones we had before, but we are now using all the languages in the MASVS, which I think we have 13 right now, and soon we will have 15. And as you can see here, it's just, you will find the list of controls from the MASVS, and next to them you will find links guiding you straight to the MSTG. You will be able to mark as done, as passed, failed, while you're doing a pen test, for instance, and you want to validate the app against the standard. The other nice thing about the checklist is that before we were doing them manually, so this took a lot of time, but now we are doing that automatically. So actually, let me get you a link that we can paste in the chat. So if you want to download also the checklist directly, they are in our releases page for the MSTG. Let me check what is the chat here. So we'll be here in a minute. Exactly. So continue with the next section. So this is very exciting, actually. So Google, well, I won't start with Google. I will start with Apple, because they started this last year. Well, not last year, but sorry, in 2020. So when you are using apps, so how often do you read the policy, like the privacy policy? They do have privacy policies, but they're quite difficult to digest. So what Apple did first was including privacy nutrition labels, they called. So you can see on the screen that when you want to download an app, you will be presented with this screen, and it's kind of digested for you, like what does this app want from you? It wants to track you, and that will be according your purchases or your content. There will be certain data linked to you. So without you having to read the whole policy, you will have an idea more or less of what these apps want from you. So following on this, between 2021 and 22, Google created and published, or well, released the Google data safety section. which includes similar labels. And you can also learn in the Google Play Store about these things and what apps wants from you. Not only that, but also, for instance, if the data is encrypted, or you can delete your data. So maybe, a lot of privacy related things. So, but there's even more to that on Google side. So, and this is especially interesting for developers developing these apps, because this will be required if you want to show that your app is secure. So first of all, if you are developing an Android app by July 20th of this year, you will have to have filled in a form including all this privacy information, so that your app can keep being released on Google Play. If you want to go one step further and not only show that, but show that your app is secure, more secure than other apps, and you want to get this badge, as you can see on the left side of the screen, telling that your app has undergone an independent security review, you can do so. And if you want to do that, you will have to follow the OWASP standard, the MASVS and the MSTG. So you will be able to contact one of the authorized labs which are performing these tests. And once you have that, then you will get this badge from Google. So we are very excited about this, because it's one very important step that Google has taken here to raise visibility of the standard, and showing the importance of following structured methodologies for testing, and this wasn't the case before. So this way you can also showcase your good security best practices. So then I will tell you about the refactoring process that we have done on the MASVS. So this is already quite advanced. We are only 2 categories from the end. So you can see in the darker blue the ones that we already did. You see network, crypto, storage, the things I was mentioning before. So these are the key areas you want to consider when you test mobile apps. Right now, so actually today, we released the authentication category, so you can take a look at that. And in the next months, we will release the resiliency against reverse engineering and the architecture category. So why we are doing a refactoring? So this is because we notice some inconsistencies or overlappings between categories, between controls, between standards. Many of our requirements, they were maybe sometimes too long or open to interpretation by many people. So we wanted to reduce this to a minimum. We want to make this simple to understand, that you have clear associated tests you can follow, and that there is no room for other interpretations. So to do this, we started this refactoring. So we took each and every category that you see here. We took all the controls that we currently have and think about how we could do that. And I will show you the process, like our thinking process, in a minute in the other slides. If you want to find this now, you can. So we are publishing this. You got the link, I think, right now to this page. And in this page, you can access each of the discussions on each of the categories. And inside, you will be able to open each of these spreadsheets. We build this as a div, showing you how it was before, how is it now. So I will show you here. Was in this side. Yeah, if you just go to, I will show you storage because it's the one I will show you in the slides as well. So this is MASVS storage. So you can find kind of like the summary here. These are the new controls. This is our current proposal, because in the end, we will be going through all the comments from all the people. This is open for every one of you to comment and have your opinion here. So in the end, we will go through everything again, and we will take in account every and each of the comments. So you can come here, click to open, and then you will open this view, which is a spreadsheet with this diff. So what you can find here is how the control was called before and how is it called now. The first thing that you will notice is that we changed the beginning of the IDs because they were before MSTG and now they are MASVS. This makes sense because the standard is MASVS. So we just, and the MSTG is a testing guide. So we will be using MASVS from now on to make things clear. And then what you can see is in some of the controls, how it was before and how is it now. Above, you can find the explanation why we removed this or why we changed this. And then you can find the new focus of this control. So you can read all of this, and to have even more context, we put even more information, like you can see here. You see that someone even commented on here. So you can see example tests. These are not all in the MSTG right now. So some of them they are, but others we will put very soon after we do this refactoring. So what you can see is that we have very fine-grained tests. I will talk about this later. We call this atomic tests. So instead of having really big tests as we had before, so for each of the MSVS controls, we have now very specific tests, as you can see here, like you should check for the operating system version, you should check if the device allows a security policy, so enforces a security policy, and many things. And you will learn in the MSTG how to implement this test. So exactly with the steps you should follow, the tools that you need, and everything. And to give you even more context, we have another column which related standards and references, so that you can compare also across standards what we mean with this control, etc. So it's a very detailed document. If you scroll down, you will see the whole thing. And the nice thing is also, I will reduce a little bit. If you cannot read, it's okay. It's just to show you that you can even filter here. And if you just want to see the new controls, you just filter like this. You see the new controls, or if you want to see the old ones, you can also do like this and see the old ones, or everything at once. So we hope this helps everyone understanding. Please go ahead and do as these people did, commenting here, and we will consider your comments. So now we will talk about, I will explain you how this process was. Like we will analyze this one, the storage one, first, which was about the system credential storage. So it's about how you securely store data. And there was a lot going on in this requirement or control. Talked about credential storage facilities, sensitive data, PAI, user credentials, cryptographic keys. So we thought that system credential storage, for instance, was not very accurate. So it's better to talk about keychain key store, even just platform key store, which refers to both of them. You could also confuse this system credential storage with Android account manager, which is also for credentials. So we wanted to make this also clear. And also we are talking about PII, so personal identifiable information, which is not meant to be in the platform key store or in the Android key store or keychain, even if iOS allows for that, but it's actually to put keys in the key store. So in the next requirement, we have that no sensitive data should be stored outside the app container, or this, again, the system credential storage facilities. This overlaps with number one clearly, and you will have the experience that sometimes data must live outside these places for some reasons. So what we did is that say, okay, the problem is not that, but it's that you need encryption. Even if you are outside these places, you need to encrypt your data properly to protect it. And another example of one requirement is this one, the 13, that tells you that no, you shouldn't store any data locally. But as you can imagine, you will have to in many situations. So this overlaps with 1 and with 2. And actually, it's an architectural decision. So we cannot enforce this on the controls because many apps will just directly fail. And yeah, it's part of the architecture. If your app needs to do this, it's okay, but we will put controls that will protect you anyway. Then we have redefined the scopes. We provide you with new information about the architecture. So I already mentioned your data might be all local, might be all remote, might be a mix of those. We talk about scope. So we want to let you understand better what this MASVS storage is meant to cover. And this is meant to cover user data, authorization, authentication data, such as tokens, credentials, and cryptographic material. So our controls will cover for all of this. Specifically to user data, as an example, you can see here how you can imagine that looks like. This is from Google, by the way, from Android, from one of their privacy pages from the Google Play Store, I think. And you can see we're talking about your location, messages from the user, personal information in many forms, financial information. So there's a lot of things going on here. And this is what we are talking about. When we talk about sensitive data, we are talking about these three groups and all this data. So all these details you will find, of course, in the MSTG when you are learning about how to protect the storage of your data. So, and here you can see that before we have 15 controls in total, and I will guide you through the process how we thought all of this, and then came up with just only 5. So first of all, we identified controls that were in other categories, or actually should be in other categories. So here we are talking about the keyboard, IPC, the UI, backups. So this is nothing that the developer is wanting to store data in there, like not consciously. I mean, they don't want to store it, but it's kind of a side effect. So it's due to the more interaction with the platform. So, and this is the category that takes care of that. So we will be moving them over there. And here we saw also this is more about crypto. So we will be also removing this one and putting it to crypto, maybe as a control or as a test. That still have to be decided, but these all are going away. So the next step, once these are removed, is to see which are the kind of obvious controls that we can see. And you can see that we derive directly from here to these 5 essential controls. And the rest, they will be remaining as tests. And we will see in the next step how to map them to the controls, or how we did it. So, and it was like this. So you can see that sharing data with third parties, we consider that as part of the testing the data privacy in storage 5. This makes sense if you take a look at what this control is about. If you read it, and if you read our new section on this in the MSTG, which is also very interesting, I will post you that as well. It's a new chapter that we started this year, I think. Yes. And where is it? Testing user privacy. So let me post you here. Here you will also learn about what privacy in general for mobile. It's not very long, the chapter. We just started it and plan to expand on that. And you will also see what I was talking about, privacy labels and the Google data safety section and how you can start testing these things. So we have seen some controls that become tests in the new MASVS version, but there's more to that. So soon we will also be refactoring the MSTG, as I already introduced before. And let me give you a first view on how this is. So what I meant before is that the MSTG in its version 1 right now, you can find a test, like testing local storage for data, for sensitive data. And this is covering 2 of the current MASVS controls. So here we see already a problem, like the overlapping is in there, right? And first of all, this is a very big test. So sure, you have all the information that you need in there, but it might be a bit hard to follow if it's that big. So we have split that. So to also with the intention to ease automation for those that are thinking about how can I automate mobile security testing. So we will be helping you with this. So you will be able to automate many tests. You will be able to showcase your coverage for the MSVS and MSTG. And with this structure, we will also give you rules, regexes that you can use and that you can follow then using static dynamic analysis tooling, etc. So as an example, you can see how we split this. So in order to test sensitive data, you have to do actually many things and look in many places. This could be the app package, the source code of the app, the binaries that you might want to reverse engineer, the libraries included. You will see that you will have to test for data being encrypted in all of these places, especially outside where the app lives in the phone, internal, external caches. So there are many places and many ways and many things to test, and we will be providing this information exactly. So, and here you can see the overall view for the whole storage category. So, and you can see also the coverage, like when we talk about the key store, you will have to check a couple of things more. We are also talking about sensitive information in logs. You will find tests for that as well. In memory, these are not all the tests. It's just to show you more or less how it will look like, but we will have many more in the MSTG. And then we have the next topic, which is compliance as code. So if you imagine at the beginning, I was telling you about the checklists that we have. So you can open one of the checklists, check everything, put your pass, fail when you are doing a penetration test. But imagine that you are testing a lot of apps. So this won't necessarily scale very good. And this is a problem we have identified. We will keep giving you the checklist because they are indeed very useful for many teams. But we want to make it easier for people that want to make things more, use more automation on their testing. So to make this transition to our version 2, and to make it very smooth, we will be improving this, and we will be improving the way you interact with the MASVS standard. And what we can see is that first we started doing, and well, generally in the community until now, traditionally, it's unfortunately the case that you need a human being to read things. You have a lot of static documents, Excels, PDFs, Words. So you have to read them, you have to interpret them. proving your coverage might be hard. Comparing testing providers, if you want to contract someone to test your app and you want to know which one of them is better, it's difficult. So they're hard to maintain as well, all this documentation. So we want to improve all of this and go from these static documents to more dynamic documents. And we will be using automation, of course, ourselves to do this. And the keyword here is machine readable. So we will be giving you standard machine readable documents that you will be able to just read, parse with your tools and show your coverage. You will be able to compare between different providers because you will be able to make a benchmarking with the framework we will be offering. This will also make things traceable, which is very important when you are testing apps, that you can always know which version of the app against which version of the standard, how it was tested, and if you need to retest it, so that you have exactly the versions, dates, and everything that you need in place. So we call this compliance as code. It's not a new term that we invented, it already exists, but we really think this will have a huge impact because you will be able to automatically get all this information and automatically process it. So for this, there is one step more that we are doing. We will be defining some profiles. We will get more details on this soon in the next months. But to give you an idea, so you already maybe know that our MASVS, it has level 1, level 2, and level 3. We call them levels until now. So we will be tweaking this a little bit and we will call them profiles. So we will follow a standard from NIST. So that's the plan for now. This standard is called OSCAL, OSCAL. And we will be using this. You don't have to care much about that. You will just receive a standard YAML document, for instance, and that's according this NIST standard. You will be able to see all of our level 1 tests there, or well, the controls in principle, the ones that are level 2, but we can keep extending this. So the idea is that we, as the standard, will offer you with a couple of these profiles, but you will be able to expand this. The community will be able to create new profiles. Imagine that you want just to reflect all the MASVS tests that are automatable. So you can, or we can build together one of these profiles to reflect that. You only want to test privacy. So privacy is something that we don't have a category for privacy because it's everywhere. So it's in storage. It has something to do with the platform interaction, with how your app is sending data. So it also has to do with network. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. That's why it doesn't have its own category. But we can capture all privacy-related tests and put them together in such a profile. And then we can also extend this to IoT profiles, health apps profiles, which not only have to cover for the MASVS, but will have additional controls requirements from other standards that they should follow. So we can bring everything together. And a special mention, of course, when you are testing authentication, you will want to test the backend as well, the server side. And that's the job of the ASVS. And in our refactoring right now, we had a little mix about like overlapping with the ASVS and the MASVS. So we separated that and we will bring them together again, thanks to these profiles that we are defining. So yeah, that was it from my side. So please get in touch. Here I leave you with all the links, information, or emails, LinkedIn's, GitHub profiles. You can contact us also on Slack. So we will also send you these slides that you can click all the links. Please contribute and help us continue with this. we will have your help in many different possible forms. You can review pull requests. You can just fix typos if you are reading the MSTG, or enhance, write new tests, propose new tests, play with our CrackMiss. So these challenge apps that we have, or maybe you are an iOS developer who want to help us do a new one. Maybe you're good with design, you want to help us doing some swag for the project, or improving our documents. So there are many things. If you don't know, you just can ask us, contact us, and we will help you find your way. So thank you very much to everyone. And if you have any questions, please go ahead.
Thank you again, Carlos. It was very, very interesting. So thank you for all the elements you gave about the new release and the new refactoring of the standards, and how also to link with many other projects and many other tools like compliance, etc., and with the security testing guide. And this is a community project, of course, so this is a call for all community to contribute to these projects and to add something, or like you said, iOS, for example, developers that can help, of course, to this project. So thank you very much again, Carlos, for this exclusivity. And we have some some thank you, like Naim and Wasif in the chat. Don't hesitate. So just 1 minute to have some questions or some remarks if you are interested in this topic. If you have some questions like developer, pen tester, etc., don't hesitate. So to post now your chat room, your question into the chat room. So just one question, Carlos, if you want, just for the community, if you talk about more in depth about this mapping, of course, between the MSVS and the mobile testing guide and the checklist you mentioned. So, for example, just for developers and for security testing, just if you give us some ideas about the automated testing using some tools, for example, scripting. For you give some information about like Frida, for example. So if you can talk about this.
Yeah, sure. So there are, of course, many tools. I will show you that if you go to the MSTG, we have a chapter on that, and you see. Can you see my screen again?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you go to our tools chapter, so you can. This is GitHub. You can always look it up here in GitHub, all that we do and the document itself, but we also build it as a Git book. You can also come here or download the PDF, just by the way. Let's just go to the Git book, for instance. And if you scroll down, you find testing tools. So here you will find a lot of information. And if you take a look here in the sidebar, you see tools that we use for all platforms, just for Android, just for iOS here. And these are tools that are being used in the test cases that we have all over the place in the MSTG. So if you think about some automation, you can just take a look. Of course, you can automate yourself many things with Frida, with Radare, L2 Frida. You also have some others like MASVS F, which will do a little analysis for you and show you some things. Also, by the way, showing the MASVS. But well, this is a free project. You cannot expect, like, if you're searching for a testing provider, they might have a more complete tooling offering your very nice automation. But well, this is anyway a nice project that can be used by everyone. But yeah, maybe not necessarily for this Google security assessments. You couldn't use something like this. You would have to really have professional people doing the assessment. But this is very nice for everyone starting. I would recommend just taking a look and maybe then try to do yourself instead of using this automated framework. Just do the same but yourself, and you learn, and you will find in the MSTG how to do those things. So yeah. Oh, you're muted. Sorry.
Of course. Sorry. So thank you very much, Carlos. So this should be very useful, of course, this link to many developers and security testers. So we have a question. Wasif Ben Ahmed, welcome Wasif. So this is a question. Do you think that some aspects from this talk are applicable in web application in general?
Well, yes, of course, and yes and no. So I would recommend you, if you want to find out more, just come here. You can take a look at the testing network communication. So we will have many places overlapping between mobile and web, but their attack surfaces, they are very different. So you will see that in mobile, you have your client. It's a bit more trusted. Like your phone is very locked down, like by the operating system, which is not the case in the web browser. But on the other side, you also have many more interfaces in the mobile phone than you have on the browser, where you will have your web page and JavaScript, and on your phone you will have Bluetooth interfaces. You also might have some local connections. So there are many things. So for that, if you take a look here at the network, just to name a few, you will find many things that you already know. You will be using Burp Suite, OWASP, and other tools. So you can use exactly the same tools and exactly the same knowledge to intercept the traffic and work with the encrypted traffic, decrypted. But you will learn, for instance, sometimes you cannot use these tools for some reason. So you will use Frida and get the traffic straight from the app before it's being encrypted. So you will find new techniques that you can apply.
Thank you, Carlos. So I hope this is okay for you, Wasif. Another question?
Sure.
From Mohammed. Donc, Ajimi, how to obfuscate your app code?
That's a question that I would like also to refer you to the MSTG, because we have a specific chapter for that. And in tampering and reverse engineering, you will find that information. So here, start explaining it more in general about this topic. And then you see binary patching, code injection, so different techniques using the disassembler, the compilers, and then more advanced techniques. And then the good thing also is that this is a general chapter explaining you all of this, but then you can go to each of the platform. Maybe you're interested on Android or on iOS or on both, and you can just come here, and we have the tampering and reverse engineering on Android, and you will find that we have tests on all of this. And you will find the relevant tooling, how you can test an app that is already obfuscated, and how to beat that, so to say. Here, Android anti-reversing defenses. This is where I wanted to go, sorry. Actually, here we should have testing obfuscation, for instance. So in testing obfuscation, we have an intro. So I would invite you to read that. Same on iOS, that you will find all of that. Testing obfuscation, and you find about different techniques, because you just not app that you have different techniques, like you can obfuscate the names, the names of the variables, the names of the functions. You have substitution for instructions. There's control flow flattening. So there are a lot of techniques. So I would invite you to read them here. And if you have any questions, just reach out to us and we can help you.
Thanks, Carlos. This is, I think, could be answered by the same way, the same links. Is there a way to bypass the same question, the second question? Is there a way to bypass obfuscation upcode? I think.
Yes.
I think yes.
Of course, you will be able to find out here why, but just to sum it up, yes, these techniques and everything that you can find in these chapters, like the tampering, reverse engineering, and anti-reversing, and in the MSVS, which we have a section, a category just for these things. These are kind of layers on top of layers on layers, and security is about that. Just put in as much as layers as you can. So if there is someone that really wants to know about your code and deobfuscate your code, they will kind of make it. Maybe because in the end, the goal might not be to deobfuscate your code, is to have some information. And maybe there is also other alternative ways. They don't even have to deobfuscate your code to get what they want. So yeah, what we recommend is build as much layers as you can, but in the context of your app. Sometimes it might be detrimental to put a lot of layers, making your app more complex or slow. So you have to measure that. You have to have a threat model, and because you don't have to obfuscate any app. We are talking about apps, very critical apps having sensitive data and, I don't know, health data, or if you want to obfuscate, probably because you want to protect your IP. So might be a game app, or yeah. So there are many cases, and you should carefully analyze them and take a look at the threat model and have a threat model first.
Yeah, exactly, and I think it's for the developer in general, but not the tester, the secure SDLC and the security from scratch, using the requirements of ESVS and threat modeling and all security, all the phases of development, security best practices testing with the guides of OWASP, like OSTG or Mobile STG, etc. So we should always take care of adding security in each phase. I think you agree, of course, Carlos.
Exactly.
And just if we don't have another question, if you have another question, don't hesitate in 1 second. So I think it's okay. I want to thank you again, Carlos, for this opportunity, to all our community in Tunisia. So welcome again in Tunisia.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, and that's been very nice. Feel free to reach out anytime, and we will be happy to help.
Yeah.
We are there to secure your mobile apps. So
so if you want just 1 second, and the last question.
Sure, of course.
So where to find guidelines? Guidelines about implementation. What do you mean implementation? Implementation of the requirement described in I think I will show the link again.
Yeah. So again, we have the two resources, the MASVS, which has the requirements, the controls.
Yeah, I will show that. Yeah.
And if you want, I can just show you in a minute how that like.
Yeah. So I just
you are in the MASVS, and imagine you want to test. So here you see all the languages that we have. I will go for English. Imagine you want to test, I know here, yeah, this one, or let's go for this one. You can just get the ID, go to the MSTG, and you can search for that. Also do it with a Git book. It's also very easier, and you can find that here. So, and you see, okay, to test this, you will get an explanation. This is about certificate pinning, so explaining what happens when the pin fails, and you have some steps on static analysis that you can do, testing the security network configuration on Android, the trust manager. So as you can see, you can find loads of details, and in many places we also give you like sample apps you can test with, and then you will find the dynamic analysis bypassing the certificate pinning, which count on that can be bypassed every time as well. So it's one of these layers on top of the rest. So yeah, please, I can show you this. I can give you this link as well. So need to explore there everything, and I would just also recommend you just search for something like I find it very easy to just open the Git book, and as we said before, or no, pinning. We are talking about pinning now, and here you can find. So I would just go ahead and navigate there. If you're talking about obfuscation, and you find everything about obfuscation here. So that should help.
You can put just a link, Carlos, here in private to show to. You already? No.
I put the one to the testing network communication and pinning.
Okay.
I can paste you, put you the Git book. So I really would recommend you to open it and search for things that you might be interested in.
Okay. And implementing, I think, thank you. So implementing MASVS or securing code, so how to secure your and fix some vulnerabilities in this code, this could help. And also, I think bypassing with testing, like SSLP, pinning, etc. So we can use the other projects, of course, of testing guys. So I think both are complementary. So the projects and mapping these two projects are very helpful. So thank you again, Carlos and Sven, also for this project. So thank you again for contributing to WASP, to community of WASP, to help the developer, to help tester, to help security community. And thanks again. Thank you all the audience for your presence, for your questions, for your interest. So I hope you enjoyed, Carlos, this presentation and your talk. And thanks again.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Ciao, ciao. Aïchkom, merci beaucoup, Loulé. Merci pour l'audience.